One of the first times that I remember that I became interested in coding was when I was like 10 years old. I created a blanket for it. And so I downloaded this software on my Nintendo 3DS. What I did was I tried to make a password program for that blanket for it on a Nintendo 3DS. At the time, I didn't know that different programming languages existed, so I tried to copy code from one language over to another. It didn't work out. That was my first program, and eventually I got it working. The first app I made for any kind of mobile device was my original Salta student app, which was the first version of my now assigned app. When I lived in Bermuda, at that school we had 2-week schedules, and that was basically impossible to keep track of. So I created this app to try to help people to keep track of this schedule as well as their homework, because some people would forget their homework. And then over that summer, I decided to take it full force and taught myself actual iOS development. And I spent over 100 hours that summer developing that app and then released it that September.
When Ethan was here, the program was just beginning. We were at the infancy in our program. Ethan was actually one of our champions. He also saw our scheduling issues, and before we knew it, Ethan had actually developed an app that was specific to Saltus to help us with our scheduling needs, which is pretty phenomenal given the age and stage he was at.
Several articles were written about me over the next few months. That got me in the door for a few awards.
Our first category is the most innovative youth project. In second place, we have Ethan Humphrey.
Midway through my 8th grade year, I actually moved back to the United States. Over that summer, I decided to make it available for all schools. So as a part of that update, I actually rebranded the app. I titled it Assigned with an exclamation point. It was very focused on allowing students to, wherever they were in the world, still be able to use the app. I've always been a fan of Apple and what they do as a company. I've been a fan of WWDC even before I was a developer. Because I loved it so much, I've always wanted to be able to go there and actually experience it firsthand. For WWDC 2018, I developed a game that featured one of Apple's executives, Craig Federighi. And it is sort of an ongoing joke that they make that every year he has to go on a journey of self-discovery before deciding upon the next name for macOS. So I made him the protagonist of the game, and it's just endless runner. Craig Federighi is placed in the original macOS software. So the windows are flying at you, and he has to jump up and down on top of them, and you have to collect items, which are actually the icons from the macOS software. The scholarship submissions were due on April 1st, which was Easter 2018. And I was even working on it on Easter because it was due at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. 20 days later is when I actually found out whether or not I'd win it. So I was sitting in class, and all of a sudden an email notification drops in saying, "You've won a WWDC scholarship." And I was insanely excited. 2 very long months later, we were packing up and flying out to San Jose, California for the conference. So over the course of the week, I went to sessions focused around machine learning. And machine learning is just a type of artificial intelligence that allows computers to recognize what's in an image and many other things. So I've been very interested in machine learning over the past few years. I was actually able to create a program to detect what type of dog was in an image, between German Shepherds, Labradors, as well as Poodles. I think machine learning has a massive variety of uses. I think it's definitely the future. One of the biggest things that was amazing to experience was meeting so many different developers from around the world. Among the scholars alone, they were from 42 different countries and spoke 34 different languages. In this one place, there was the most diversity I'd ever seen, and it was so great to be able to meet developers from around the world. After this, I'm definitely going to apply everything I learned from the whole conference to my apps, as well as any future apps I develop. If people do want to keep up with any apps I'm developing, they can follow me at HUMPHREY'S on all social media platforms, and that's where I promote my apps as well as discuss future apps.